Okay, what I did was I opened the back of this Hubsan FPV2 transmitter and enlarged the or cleared out the battery area. I take a shot here. You can still see that the tray that holds 4 AA batteries sits in there kind of like this. See, like that. You have to kind of pry it out with a flat-bladed small screwdriver using the lip over here. Get between this and the bottom carefully so you don't mar the actual case. And this pulls up and you set it aside over here. It's got 2 wires that are soldered right to, probably don't have a good focus on this camera, but those 2 leads there on the board. So then there's a standoff here, there's a standoff here, there's one here, and there's one over in the corner. There's also a baffle that comes off this piece here. These 2 pieces here are okay, and there's a baffle that's here. I took that out. That gives more room for the tail end of the battery. Now, the battery, I'll give you the particulars on the battery, but I'll show you what it looks like physically. I don't think it has any markings on it right now, but it may have. Yes, it does. So here's the battery, and the battery says, just read it. It says HW903475, 7.4 volt, 200 milliamps. It's a 25C battery, okay? And so that's for the Hubsan. There's another guy who actually uses this same battery, but he makes a hole in the battery cover itself, and then fastens this with Velcro onto the back of the transmitter, which I think is kind of like, here's the back of the transmitter, so he puts it like this, and that's just one more thing to mess with on the outside. So I got to thinking the battery almost fits. So when I took the back cover off, it actually fits, and so I'll drop it in there so you can see. It sits down in there like that, see? It actually sits down in there, and then you put the cover on, and you can still slide it out of the hole that the regular battery case had open for removing the AA batteries. Now, this end here, which is your power source, this is your balance plug. This one is changed. Now, wasn't that nice of them? Hubsan put a female, whatever that connector is called. I happen to have a bunch of them, and so I just have to supply the, I want to make sure that's a female. No, that's actually the male end. So I'll supply the female, and then I'll cut the lead off here. There's a bridge here. Snip that with your wire snips and separate that. Remember, only work on one side at a time. So put your shrink tubing on your wire first after you cut this one side off. One side at a time. Now remember, you ground these 2 leads, you're going to blow that LiPo battery up. Not a good thing to do. So solder that. Once you get the shrink tubing on that, solder the new wire for your connector, which is here, the female side. The wire on the black to black and red to red. And I'll take pictures of that so you see what I'm talking about, or maybe video. And then when you're done with the soldering, you slide your shrink tubing back, and then of course shrink it on each side. Now you have a nice completed thing. You adjust the length of this so that you don't have a whole length to deal with when you're going to connect it to that thing, which makes it, about that length. Then you can just slide this in, tuck this balance battery in this space left, because you're going to have a fair amount of space here. There, like that, see? And I was thinking about putting some foam in the corner here, just to hold it snug on either side, and maybe on the either side here. thin foam and some right here, and that'll keep it from rattling around in there. So that's what I've got planned so far. Then I'm going to upgrade the antenna. So over here is your 5.8, I think it is, and that's for the monitor, and then you've got your other antenna right here, and that you kind of held in space with hot glue, and the little plug that you unsnap is right here on this one, and the other one is right, gotta see it, I'm looking through the camera lens here, so it is right here in the corner, and they just pop off from below, so you pry from below. And then the new ones, the new antennas that I'm going to upgrade with, I'll take a picture of those too and where I got them. That's it so far. Okay, so this is a continuation of the mod on the battery for the Unique Typhoon 2 hexacopter. So what I did was I took the battery box out of this thing, and all I saved was this front piece right here where you see my finger, because it is what holds the door on. I'm going to put this door in front here and show you these two little knobs here fit in those holes. You have to have those to hold the door on, and then the battery latch fits in the front here underneath, and I'll show you the tab that goes on that, which is that one here, and I'll turn it over so you see it catches. See, it has a catch there. It catches on the back of the case. See if I can show it to you. That little divot right, with this down so I can point to it right here. Now, the front end of this door will have a tendency to fall in like this, because there's no tracks on either side to hold it up in the back. So what I did was I put a piece of like spongy foam, and that sits against the top of the battery when it's in there like that. Show you like that, and that holds that tab up, which keeps it locked in the bay. Your electrical connection goes from the battery, you see there, into right there, okay, and the rest of the wire curls up in the gap right here. So the battery fits in there something like this, makes the connection. You have all this space over here, and it slides out through the door. I'll show you the rest of it. While I was at it, I made an upgrade on the antennas. So you have to drill a hole in the top here and the top here, and that's a 8mm, and it's about that translates into a 1/4 inch drill. And I have to drill out a little, and the reason you do is to get this screw base on this antenna through here. There's a baffle you have to work around. You have to bend that wire and then slide this down, so you have to drill this hole out a little on the downside to slide your cable through, your threaded connection, which you see here. Can't show you very well in the lighting, it's horrible, I must admit. The cable goes up, the screw joins up here, and then the cable goes through here, and you have to bend it past this screw hole here and here, which is what holds the top back on, and these two down here are the other two, total 4. So I'll show you what it looks like when I get it all put together. So with the top on, the back on rather, and I haven't screwed it on yet. Take those screws off there. that's what the battery bay looks like. Okay. There's the two little notches. I'll show you here. Notches in the back, and there's the notches right here where my thumb is. There's one, and there's the foam, okay, which pushes up against this battery and helps it to lock on the front. So if I push it in there, I'll try to do this one-handed. And I'm going to have to set the camera down. So here is the 2.4 and there's the 5.8 antenna that I took out from the inside of the unique transmitter. And then here is the new 2.4. And here is the new external 5.8. So there you go. And there you can see the screen is lit. I'll turn it off again. And there you are. Bring it down. Totally charged battery. So that modification went well. Here's the back side of it, all closed up. It went well. I like the way it came out. This is G Wooster signing off.